that I understand. One of the, again, in PR terms, one of the major changes that's come into the world with the electronic environment as a total surround. Many meanings. Audience becomes workforce.
TV is good for that, and same with ads.
What's alive and what you're not.
If the audience can become involved...
Sure. The puree setting really is more of a fine chop.
Stem or stone.
If the audience can become involved in the actual process of making, in the actual process of...
Thumbs up, Rick. That was helpful.
People leapt from childhood into adulthood overnight. This is what happens under electric conditions again. There is no really...
Usher women. That is called a gap. A generation
conditions
gap.
Again. There is no really... Childhood is disappearing.
Antisocial children and such people dare look at the environment. The emperor's new clothes are perfectly visible to them. But to well-adjusted, respectable people, the old clothes are what is seen.
He could never copy them by hand.
Oh, no.
And so he spent years trying to get them through Congress, as it were, with
The Americans have lost their sense of identity.
Is the normal human condition. Does television have an aesthetic?
Vast affluence available to children standing up in their playpens watching TV.
And if so, what are some of the recognizable...
And the real world pouring off those images.
I'm right in this, Philip. It would not specially preoccupy a radio audience or a movie audience.
The world off this vulgar, trashy advertising.
It tells you exactly what you're heading for, 30 years before you get there. The idea of using a movie or a radio program as a way of achieving personal perpetuity of fame is a rather doubtful procedure.
Or of having this need for perpetuity of fame in the future induced into you by watching such media.
That's true.
A world we ignore. And
Therefore, all media, not just the newspaper, uses bad news as a way of selling ads. All news is fake. All news is fake. It's pseudo-event. It's created by the medium that is employed. It's pseudo-event. It's created by the medium that is employed.
Colossal fiction.
There is no honest reporting.
The word fake, actually, and the word fact are the same word. They both come from Latin, facio, meaning to make.
On any medium, it is all fake, necessarily created by the medium in question.
And the results of their efforts are expanded worldwide, much better than any art gallery can do.
Okay. Which means hieroglyphic.
Intelligence is recognized as a global resource.
Presidents. And at the meeting, they had someone talk about this thing called the Linux operating system. He wonders, if my geologists don't know where the gold is, maybe somebody else does.
A little bit.
The word run comes from rune, R-U-N-E.
As you push the young... Does television have an aesthetic out of their electronic environment?
Only artists are.
And if so, into the...
Well, no, but the point is...
By the way, look at the cover of the Zoom 8.
And I do that too, except that I am careful to make my statements annoying.
TV guide, Dali picture of what TV really is. 2 thumbnails. Now, the interval between the two is the all-important thing.
Is that when you use phonemes, you translate the acoustic into the visual.
You do not have to improve their moral lives or their physical or social lives.
This is a world where you have multi-billion-dollar environment of service images, vast affluence, available to children standing up in their playpens watching TV.
Who stand back and just analyze instead of experiencing, never really have the experience. But at the same time, I don't think anybody is saved enormously just by giving themselves over to an experience completely unknown.
Last night on Nostalgia Brothers,
ordinary child of 3 or 4.
Your grandchild, Helix Culpa.
archetype is fresh perception of new energy and new form. New forms of energy, unexpected, startling. Helix Culpa, to use your phrase.
How would your definition sort of contrast with Jung's?
Jung, I once saw Jung being interviewed on film.
As you know, the voting age used to be 18. It will be 3 in your time.
Child of 3 or 4 knows more about the world than Methuselah ever knew. He's been around the planet over and
over. Their playpens watching TV.
Until they're socialized, you can put them onto the assembly line instantly.
Now that's what I was interested in. I mean, how many thoughts can you cram in your head?
It isn't a question of how many thoughts. The fact is that when you confront the page at that speed, you apprehend it as a gestalt.
Now that I can understand.
And that is a kind of figure ground, and that is depth. And it is a sort of iconology. It is a kind of...
Then when you bump one cliche into another, there tends to be a kind of breaking of the carapace, the wrapping, and the cliches gush forth in a world of suggestions and new perception. When you take 2 banal old plots or old melodies, rub them together,
exactly,
and get a whole world of new music and new dramatic insight.
Sculptural approach to the page. It ceases to be lineal at speed, by the way.
No, I can see that.
Yes, it ceases to be lineal, and you begin to take it as a gestalt.
But surely a reading is half of it is thinking as well as actually.
Remember, we went into that subject